Hey guys, how you going? Hey guys, are you worried about 5G or EMFs? Well, I'd like to introduce you to the sponsor of this video. It's a business who supports the truth. It's EMF harmonized and they sell EMF protection technology. It's like Tesla technology. The technology filters out the harmful RF radio frequency waves and has been scientifically proven to do so. As we use our computers, phones and tablets, the EMFs damage our DNA. In other words, consider getting some EMF protection from the link below, as you'll protect yourself, you'll help the growth of my channel, and you'll help fellow truth supporting businesses. And just so you can see the products for yourself, this is the products. And it gives you, even the website will give you a lot of information. So if you'd like to check it out, the link will be down below. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate your support. Okay, guys, before I start, I would like to thank Cheryl, Ruth, and Emmanuel. I hope I said that right. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you to all my Patreons and PayPals and everybody who listens or watches. And also, sorry to my Patreons at the moment. I've been a little bit behind in putting a video out, so I will get onto that very shortly. Okay, I've been away for a few days just from a bit of exhaustion. Just having a really busy week, and yeah, I needed to take some time out. I slept on and off all day yesterday, so I'm starting to catch back up again. Okay, anyway. Okay, I'm just going, while we're waiting for news to come out, because we are waiting for something big to drop. And it looks like it's going to, from Sidney Powell and a couple of other people. But anyway, until then, 3 days, 3 nights, says the cure goes worldwide. Face it, folks, by Christmas every nation on earth will begin rising up against its own leaders, demanding new elections without fraud, as the truth in the US spreads. They will be distracted and weak. We will be strong and organised. Trust the plan. And this from President-elect Oz 17. How about you go jump? The silent majority will not be so silent anymore, because they've taken it down now, but apparently the World Economic Forum put out an article or a tweet. I think it was a tweet. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. This is how our world could change by 2030. And then there was a link. Based on the input of the members of the World Economic Forum's Global Futures Council. These are the people who want the universal basic income, the Great Reset, which is not, that is from, it'll pretty much be the New World Order. That's Agenda 21 in a nutshell. You can look up Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030. Yeah, just, it's not good. And from CJ Truth, Trump attorney Sidney Powell says election results ready to overturn. And this is from OANN. Let's have a look. Okay, from the OAN newsroom. A member of the president's legal team reaffirmed the fight to defend free and fair elections is not over. During an interview on Sunday, attorney Sidney Powell said election results in multiple states are getting ready to overturn. She cited an overwhelming amount of evidence the president's legal team has received concerning voter fraud and irregularities. Powell went on to claim she has enough evidence, some even dating back to 2016, to launch a widespread criminal investigation. She specifically noted a member of Joe Biden's team is also on the board of directors for a software company behind the flawed Dominion voting systems. And it's not just them. They're facing an election that was absolutely rigged. We are soaking in information through fire hoses of complicated mathematical alterations to the votes, stated the attorney. We have identified the system capability that does it. It does, in fact, exist, regardless of what the name of it is. Powell said the software dubbed Smartmatic was designed for the sole purpose of shifting voting results. It was a feature of the system that was designed with a backdoor so that people could watch in real time and calculate with an algorithm how many votes they needed to change to make the results they wanted to create, she explained. Over the weekend, the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, brought attention to the company's alleged involvement while noting the evidence will all come out. Dominion has denied any claims its software was compromised, also adding that the election was the most secure in American history. Well, if they're denying claims that it was compromised, then it was set up that way. Just saying. Meanwhile, Powell hopes to reveal all pertaining affidavits and evidence of fraud before the election certification deadline. And that's the end of that one. We the inevitable. Rothschild. Venezuela creditors meet with Rothschild. Cleary in London. Hang on. Let's get into that. Cleary in London sources. Okay. London, New York routers investment bank Rothschild is participating in a Venezuelan creditors meeting in London on Thursday to discuss how to handle the cash-strapped country's request to restructure some $60 billion or £44 billion in outstanding bonds, according to two sources familiar with the matter. The meeting, organised by UK-based hedge fund Macro Synergy Partners, will aim to discuss a likely path forward on debt issued by the government and state-owned oil company PDVSA, as well as whether to form an informal ad hoc bondholder committee, according to an invitation seen by Reuters. Among those in attendance will be lawyers from the Cleary, Gottlieb, Steen and Hamilton LLP, including Lee Bitchute, I hope I said that right, a partner who specialises in sovereign debt restructurings. Oh, what's the bet they're going to go the universal basic income? And the reset, they're going to start there, are they? And having lawyers involved in anything can't be good. Cleary, Gottlieb, Steen and Hamilton? I don't know. Rothschild, the Paris-based global advisory firm whose specialties include debt restructuring, is also participating. Two sources familiar with the meeting told Reuters. The meeting is one of the most concrete signs that yet that holders of Venezuelan bonds are meeting each other to strategize on how to handle the country's deeply distressed bonds. The country's debt has plunged further this month after Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced that he wants to restructure it. While he has said Venezuela will keep servicing its obligations for now, bondholders ranging from hedge funds to emerging market funds are starting to lay the foundations for what could be a bitter showdown over the OPEC member nations' debt down the road. Yeah, so this is mainstream too. That can't be good. Just can't be good for Venezuela, I'm telling you now. Or can? You tell me. Okay, from We the Inevitable. For the laughs, ready? This is quite funny.
Amazing! Status update. Best day of my life! Grandma,
should we tell him that?
No, let him tire out first. Not yet. He's losing steam. Just let it run its course.
Best day of my life!
Hey, Steve.
Best gift ever!
Love the car.
Best thing ever! Hey!
Oh, I thought that was funny. That's exactly what's going to happen. He thinks he's won until the real results come through. Okay, from Laura Dodsworth, these rules will expire on December 2nd. Boris Johnson, 5th of November. It's too early to say, Matt Hancock, 16th of November. Since 23rd of March, the government has tightened and loosened the lockdown screws. This plays with people's minds, lives and businesses. It's a form of psychological torture. Biden's chart of coercion. Thank you to everyone who already shared it on the thread. And then an amended list adapting it to COVID. I think it was penned by Dr. McCullough. Which is the first step is isolation, deprives victim of all social support, of his ability to resist, develops an intense concern with self, makes victim dependent on interrogator. The variants are complete solitary confinement, complete isolation, semi-isolation, and group isolation. Number 2, monopolisation of perception. Fixes attention upon immediate predicament, fosters introspection, eliminates stimuli competing with those controlled by captor, frustrates all action not consistent with compliance. Variants are physical isolation, darkness or bright light, barren environment, restricted movement, monotonous food. Number 3, induced debilitation and exhaustion. Its effects are weakens mental and physical ability to resist, and the variants are semi-starvation, exposure, exploitation of wounds, induced illness, sleep deprivation, prolonged constraint, prolonged interrogation, forced writing and overexertion. Number 4, threats. The effects of it is cultivates anxiety and despair, threats of death, threat of non-return, threat of endless interrogation and isolation, threats against family, vague threats, mysterious changes of treatment. And these are all what the government is doing to people, and the effects on it and the variants on it. Occasional indulgences provides positive motivation for compliance, hinders adjustment to deprivation. Occasional favours, fluctuations of interrogators' attitudes, promises, rewards for partial compliance, tantalising, like Dan Andrews saying he was going to open up Victoria once there were 0 cases, and then moving the goalposts. Okay, number 6, demonstrating omnipotence and omniscience. Suggests a futility of resistance. Confrontation, pretending cooperation taken for granted, demonstrating complete control over victim's fate. Okay, number 7 is degradation. Makes cost of resistance more damaging to self-esteem than capitulation. Reduces prisoner to animal level concerns. The variants are personal hygiene prevented, filthy infested surrounds, demeaning punishments, insults and taunts, denial of privacy. This reminds me of 1984. I'm serious. Number 8, enforcing trivial demands. Develops habits of compliance, forced writing, enforcement of minute rules. And there you go, isolation techniques, quarantine, social distancing, isolation from loved ones and solitary confinement, the monopolisation of perception, monopolising the 24/7 news cycle, censoring dissenting views, and creating barren environments by closing bars, gyms and restaurants. The degradation part techniques, berating, shaming people or even physically attacking those who refuse to wear masks or social distance, or generally choose freedom over fear. Induced debility, or the people who generally choose freedom over fear, yep. Induced debility, being forced to stay at home and not be able to exercise or socialise. Threats, threatening with removal of your children, prolonged quarantine, the closing of your business, fines for non-compliance with mask and social distancing rules, forced vaccination and so on. Demonstrating omnipotence versus omniscience, or / omniscience, shutting down the whole world, claiming scientific and medical authority. Enforcing trivial demands. Examples include family members being forced to stand 6 feet apart at the bank even though they arrived together in the same car, or having to wear a mask when you walk into a restaurant even though you can remove it as soon as you sit down, or having to wear a mask when walking alone on the beach. Occasional indulgence, reopening some stores and restaurants, but only at a certain capacity. For example, part of the coercion plan is that the indulgences are always taken away again, though, and they are already saying we may have to shut down the world again this fall, or this spring if you're in Australia. So that's how they're going to first force people into the New World Order. So we all need to we just need to say no. Mandates are not laws. And all of these things are mandates. It's not the law. And if you get fined, I got fined for going to a park during the lockdown for a protest. And it was supposed to be $1,000 fine. Well, I never got my fine. And that was in April? Yeah, so guys, seriously, you just need to get out and do it. Stop fearing the threat of fines for your business or fines for you, or we've got to stop it. Well, actually, as that other person said, the world's going to rise up before the end of the year. You're going to be forced into it if you're not already. I think. Okay, from Dan Bongino. Do you want a politician telling you if you can have Thanksgiving dinner? And a New York sheriff actually stood up to Cuomo and refused to enforce his anti-Thanksgiving rubbish. And from Dano, it's Snarkish Dano. I love this man's ability to craft words into paragraphs chock full of meaning. And from Martin Geddes. The arrogant are about to get an audit. Those who refuse to look at the data and its anomalies. Those who chose comfortable consensus over uncomfortable dissent. Those who chose lying media over righteous friends and colleagues. A very painful audit that exposed who they became. Okay, and from the Blue Sky Report, big tech censorship. Zuckerberg and Dorsey are facing lawmakers again. The hearing starts on the 17th of the 11th you know what I mean, 17th of November at 10 a.m. Gatekeepers of speech are violating our First Amendment. Jack Dorsey with Sean Penn on the beach in Hawaii. It doesn't look happy. Oh, you're in trouble, you guys. You're in trouble. Okay. And from Ian Miles Chong, giving voice to the voiceless from Andy No. Breaking. The wanted suspect seen assaulting people after Saturday's pro-Trump rally in DC is Brittany S. McAllister, a journalism student, a BLM activist. Read my exclusive report, co-written. This lady here. Is it? Okay. As the big tech tyrants tighten their grip, join us for more free speech at Parler. Okay. I do have a Parler account, by the way, guys. It's in the description. And all the links for the videos are going to be in the pinned comment down below for those who are asking for the links. You have to read more on the pinned comment and you'll see them. Okay. Post-millennial has identified a Black Lives Matter protester and journalist filmed assaulting Trump supporters after the Million MAGA March on Saturday in Washington, D.C. Brittany S. McAllister, 29, of Washington, D.C., was caught on viral video assaulting at least 2 individuals. She's a third-year journalism student at Howard University and works as a freelance journalist. Well, that says a lot for universities now, doesn't it? Turning out people like that. I think they they brainwashed them to the left. In the first assault caught on video, later retweeted by President Trump, McAllister kicked an unconscious man on the ground after he was sucker punched by Kenneth Wayne DeBerry, who was arrested and charged. She was holding a camera at the time. Soon after, she sprinted up behind a woman carrying an American flag and punched her in the head before running away. And it would be this.
Hey, what the fuck? Right there, that cunt. Fucking go arrest.
Disgusting. Earlier in the day, far-left group Refuse Fascism had profiled the DC social justice activist in a now-deleted tweet. McAllister gave a speech against Trump and his followers at Black Lives Matter Plaza. And there she is. Racism has no place anywhere. MAGAs aren't racist. They're not white supremacist. And the anti-fascists seem to be the fascists. McAllister was active on social media but has deactivated and deleted all her known accounts after videos of the assaults went viral. Yeah, of course she did. She also removed her personal website where she described herself as a freelance backpack journalist who runs magazine Pausals. She has yet to be arrested. The Metropolitan Police Department did release a photo of McAllister soliciting tips from the public to identify her. And the Million MAGA March was peaceful and attended by thousands of attendees, but violence erupted in the late afternoon and evening as rally attendees dispersed the event and returned to their hotels. Yes. Well, as far as I could tell, the violence only came from one side, so... Okay, let's see what else we've got. Okay, we've got Boris Johnson using the Build Back Better catchphrase, which is the Great Reset. It looks like the same in the UK as it does here. Liberal and Labor here in this country are on... just completely rule them out. Don't even vote for them. Same as this guy. And see, I thought they were being told what to do by the Trump team because they had the ankle bracelets on. I thought, oh, they're under control, but no. Well, they're under control to expose themselves. That's what they're under control for. Anyway, I don't even want to listen to this guy. They just really make me angry. Donald J. Trump said, "Why does the fake news media continuously assume that Joe Biden will ascend to presidency, not even allowing our side to show, which we are just getting ready to do, how badly shattered and violated our great Constitution has been in the 2020 election? It was attacked, perhaps like never before, from large numbers of poll watchers that were thrown out of vote counting rooms in many of our states, to millions of ballots that have been altered by Democrats only for Democrats, to voting after the election was over, to using the radical left-owned Dominion voting systems, turned down by Texas and many others because it was not good or secure. Those responsible for the safeguarding of our Constitution cannot allow the fake results of the 2020 mail-in election to stand. The world is watching." Oh, there you go. The world is watching. We are. And if anyone who knows the boards knows that that's exactly where that came from. The 17 board. Said that a lot. The world is watching. Okay, from 3 days, 3 nights. The media is the virus. Keep reminding them. So the media is the virus, the military is the cure. Do you get why the vaccine, military? Do you understand? Yeah, it helps to have followed. I really think it helped me to follow from the beginning with the board. Because I was listening to a whole lot of different people interpret what it said. So I was getting all different opinions, and yeah, as time went on, we could see which way it was going. So this from the X22 report: the DS system has "we the people" Trump is trying to free our minds. He can only show we the people to the door. We the people have to decide to walk through it. So we have to stand up. As I said, this may be a movie, but it's an interactive one, and at some point we're going to have to stand up and say no. Take our governments back. Demand a new election. Okay, from Corey Lynn from Corey's Digs. They don't just want to cancel your Thanksgiving and Christmas. They want to cancel your life. Are you going to stand for this? Everybody needs to grow a pair. We all do. Even sick, it doesn't matter. Sick, whether you're sick or not, the same as me. Eventually, we're going to have to stand up and push back. So, from Donald Trump Jr., why am I not surprised? And he's asking that of Dinesh D'Souza. Remember that man who sucker punched a Trump supporter in DC and knocked him out? Turns out he's a registered child sex offender. The man who sucker punched him. Is that a man? That looks like that woman again. No idea. From 2 different attacks in DC, same people. Why though? So who was the guy who... Oh, it's this guy's got a thing on his head, that's why. There you go. So it is a guy. He's just got like a scarf on his head, over his head. So this guy's a registered sex offender. Okay, great. That's why they're letting them out of prison, see? They let them all out of prison, and I bet you they're paying them to run amok in the streets. And because they're the most violent people, well, not everybody in prison is a violent person, but because a lot of people in prison are violent, they would be the ones they pay to do that type of thing. Okay, from Tim Cardella. Evidence is showing that Smartmatic Dominion have been manipulating elections for years, if not decades, and in many countries besides the US. The Great Awakening has always been a worldwide event. The truth will shock the world. Number 17. And this. From Donald J. Ned Kelly. Have you ever seen a more appropriate photo of our traitorous Prime Minister? You son of a gun. Oh dear, okay. I'm just going to do a couple more tweets and then I'm going to leave it there, guys. And I will be back from now on. I just needed those couple of days, and I whip a snip today, and I know I'm going to get a sore back and shoulders from it. But I can't, there's nothing else I can do when it needs doing. I've got to do it. Okay, 3 days, 3 nights. It's looking more and more likely that all mail-in ballots from select state elections can be claimed invalid because they were unconstitutional in the first place. This includes California. And from Make America Great Again, this will be a big week. Oh, hang on, there's one more I want to, or maybe 2 more I want to read. Murray, breaking Sydney Power 1. I would warn any state right now that thinks they're going to certify this election to rethink it very seriously, because what they're certifying is their own fraud and their own complicity in fraud. I might even mount a class action later, a suit later, to sue themselves for their own participation in it. It's ridiculous. The legislators in the states need to take control right now and reject the certifications of especially the swinging states that were so heavily influenced by these hundreds of thousands of vote changes. And from 6% Cheza at 17 Army. Politicians are put there to give you the idea you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. that have long since bought and paid for. And it's all problem, reaction, solution. Pandemic, I can't breathe, and economic crash. Oh no, sorry, problem there. Reaction, lockdown, masks and distancing for the pandemic, and for the I can't breathe, the riots and lawlessness, and for the economic crash, anarchy and chaos. And the solution will be vaccine with microchip ID, cashless system, and a new world order. Okay. Yeah, so at some point, guys, we are going to have to stand up against it. Otherwise, they are just going to take over. So I really don't know what to say. I think at one point we are going to have to stand up and say something and demand elections and demand our media be defunded or taken down completely. I can't see any other way around it. Let me know what you think down below, guys. And I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Okay, guys. Bye.